Hello and welcome or welcome back. Today we're just going to be talking about the fourth ever episode of Tales from the Crypt. Hell yeah. No AI or script or anything. Straight from the brain of this dumbass pothead. I appreciate a sub, a like, whatever, any of that. If not, fine. Yeah. We'll get right into it. Starts off with this handsome bastard checking himself out in the mirror before cutting to today's story. Only sin deep. Ooh. This one starts off in like the red light district of New York or something like that, with it following a streetwalker named Mrs. McFly. She must be on hard times right now. But her whole gimmick is she's just so damn beautiful. She uses it, she wields it. She's very cocky, she's very arrogant, she knows what she is. She's one of them that's gone by with her looks her whole life. I don't know how the hell she ended up on the streets, am I right? She must be just super intelligent. But anyway, she's got her buddy there. She's almost like a mentor or something like that, but you could tell that she's been doing it a little bit longer. She's sitting there saying how often she is looking at herself in the mirror, and they have to touch base on just like, how beautiful she is. Even referring to her face as her meal ticket. But again, look at where she ended up in life, So anyway, here comes a pimp named Slickback, who is apparently this other young lady's pimp, and she plays the role, But Mrs. McFly here, she's an independent, so she's not having that shit. He's trying to get her to come and work for him, and she's all like, "Fuck you, buddy, back off." And he's just like, I'm just talking business. I'm just trying to be nice." So she threatens him to try to establish herself. So then he kind of just, kind of reminds her, well, like the pecking order here in these here streets. And even as he's walking away, her friend there even says, "You're not going to last out here much longer." And she's like, "Well, maybe I don't want to last out here much longer." So then they watch a limo pull up across the street, just kind of being envious. Seeing a woman come out with a rich man, just saying like, "For the rich, every night's a party night," and wondering, what has she got that I ain't got? And the other one's all like, him. And Mrs. McFly's just all like, "That bitch ain't going to beat me." So then she turns up the charm a little bit on pimp named Slickback, and pretending that she's gonna be all apologetic and whatnot. So she gets him into an alleyway where she then can kind of set him up, get him comfortable, and then boom, she starts robbing him, taking all of his stuff. She's planning on just like getting a whole bunch of money up together to be able to take that one bitch in the limo's place, you know what I mean? So then he's stupid, he ends up trying to fight her for it, and then all of a sudden, a couple of shots go off, and she gets him. I'm sure he'll be fine. She then goes up to her friend, she's like, "You're a strong, independent woman now." She then goes to the pawn shop where she tries to sell a pimp named Slickback's jewelry, where the owner asks her where the hell she got that stuff. She said her friend had an accident, so then she just took all of his shit, I guess. She then looks around and notices a couple of like odd voodoo type thingies, and then like a gong for some reason. And then she looked in the horse's mouth, I think. Is that what that is? I have no idea. The party's then crashed by a seemingly old woman, really pissed off, swinging a stick at Mr. Meth Head pawn shop owner guy before just like leaving. Mrs. McFly found that amusing. She then asks how all of this works, how long she has to pay off the loan and all that fun shit. He's just like, "You got 4 months plus 12% if he decides to even take the stuff." And she's just like, "Well, what the hell do you mean by that?" And he's just like, "This watch here is hot as hell. If this watch were any hotter, I'd burn a hole in my hand." She's just like, "Well, what the hell? The watch is real nice, it's real expensive. Give me a break." He's just like, "It's hot. You can't sell that shit. Hot means it's stolen if you don't know." He's like, he's not buying your jewelry, and I'm not buying your bullshit stories. Now get the hell out of here." She then has to have the last word that gets under his skin. And he's just like, "Wait a minute, I think I can help you out here." And she turns around, and you know how like that narcissistic type of personality is. She's like, "Well, I thought you said no." He's like, "I can't take your stolen shit, but I can take something else that you got. Something special. Something a whole lot more." She's like, "Sorry, old man, I don't do that no more." Implying, wink wink. He's like, "I ain't talking about that." He says, "I'm talking about your beauty." So then she doesn't take it serious. She's like, "How the hell is this guy gonna buy my beauty?" But he's just as serious as that meth he's smoking. He's just like, "Give me a second." So he reaches into a tin where he has a little zip baggie where he just conveniently has $10,000 that he's offering to give her in exchange for her beauty. Just in a jar with no like security or nothing. $10,000 in 1989. I'm surprised that he hasn't spent that shit on, a little bit of meth, a lot of bit of meth. She's all down for the idea. She doesn't take the shit serious. She's all like, "How the hell is this guy gonna take my beauty?" As she's ready to get the procedure done or whatever it is, she's like, "All you're gonna do is just take a mold of my face for $10,000? And he's just like, "No, it's not your face, it's your beauty." And she's just like, "Oh yeah, okay." She ain't taking it serious. But this is still just a loan. It's still just $10,000 pawn, loan. You're pawning your beauty to this guy. So you have to pay back that money to get your beauty back, essentially. And she's like, I got 4 months to redeem it to get my beauty back. And he's just like, yep. I don't know. That probably includes the 12% too, like in the beginning. You know, a guy's got to run a business and all. So he's just in the background doing white dude voodoo shit while she's just kind of, you know, talking, you know, kind of not taking it serious, calling him a little nutty while he's just, you know, doing his thing. I think he sprinkled a little bit of meth in there a second ago. So then it cuts back to pawn shop meth head guy doing white dude voodoo in the back room of his shop. He's like blowing meth all over the place or something. He then starts talking to something off camera saying that you'll be back with me and you'll look exactly the way that you used to and all this other shit. And it reveals it's his wife and she's looking damn good. It then cuts back to Mrs. McFly doing a Dumb and Dumber beauty montage. Wouldn't have guessed she wore those. She then shows up to that party where she was just like, oh, I'm gonna take that bitch's spot. She then scans the room and instantly finds her target with the chick that she wants to cuck. The guy makes eye contact with her and lets her in. You know what he's thinking. They then meet and they have like this weird little thing, this weird little game of cat and mouse. You can tell that he's a bit of a douchebag and she's a bit of a bitch. So it's just like, you know, they're perfect for each other. So they're just flirting back and forth, just who's ever the bigger douchebag. Then you see the dude's girlfriend off to the side and she's just, you know, she's not liking it very much. And she's just like, you don't think it's rude to leave her to go and flirt with me? He's just like, who's doing that? Because, you know, he's like the greatest guy ever. They then exchange their incredibly douchey names. Her last name is Vane, like Weather Vane, and his name is Price, like, you know, name your price, because, you know, he's the greatest guy in the world, biggest douchebag in the world. And she's just increasingly looking just not happy. Anyway, she then plays hard to get, which ends up just totally working. It then cuts to 4 months later, where you know what time it is. And they're just kind of living it up, you know. They could tell that, you know, they're in quote love with each other. I don't know. They're a couple of narcissistic assholes, so who knows. But right off the bat, you could tell that there's something just a little bit off. And then after a minute, so does she. So then it cuts to him saying that he's going to be leaving for a couple of days. Well, she's sitting at her desk just flustered, trying to figure out what the hell these e-girls do to stay young looking. He's all just like, what the hell's wrong? She's like, nothing. He's just like, what are you doing screwing around with all that shit? You're a knockout. Come on now. And just for the record, the character is 21 years old. I think the actress at the time is around 27 or 28-ish. So then it cuts to her at the doctor, and he's just like, well, you know what? At least, you know, it's not cancer. He's just like, your record says that you've never had any sort of plastic surgery or nothing like that, where she's just insulted by that. She's like, hell no, I haven't. And he's just like, these are things that kind of just look like symptoms of that. She's just like, I just want to figure out what the hell is wrong with my face. He's just like, well, you're obviously stressed out. And she's like, well, no shit, Sherlock. 48 hours ago, I could have gotten any guy I want. Now I look like an old hag. He then just cuts through the shit and tells her, your skin just seems to be aging at an alarming rate. It doesn't mean it's irreversible, but I need you to think back to anything that maybe could have led to this. So then she thinks back to the meth head pawn shop guy and the white dude voodoo horse mouth thing and the crazy old lady swinging a stick and meth head guy. And just how weird and voodoo duty it was up in that bitch, in hindsight. She's really not that intelligent. She then just has a eureka moment and like leaves. She then gets to the pawn shop and she's just like, here's the 10 grand plus 12% in my damn ticket. He's just like, what are you, stupid? You're a day late. And she's like, you gotta be shitting me. He's like, I told you 4 months, dummy. She's like, you son of a bitch. And he's like, sorry. She's like, how much more would it cost me, huh? He's like, nanny boo-boo, tough shit. And you know, she just wasn't having that shit. She's like, how much, bitch? He's like, 100. He's like, 100 grand, motherfucker. She's like, ah, shit. Then a cop comes in, remarks on how ugly that lady was. Because he's a douchebag too, I guess. She then goes back to the apartment or penthouse condo, whatever the hell it is, and just starts raiding the place, trying to come up with that 100 grand. She's just robbing this dude blind. Well, he comes in and she's just destroying the freaking place. He's just like, what the hell's going on? Who the hell are you and all this shit? And then she just says his name and he's like, how the hell you know my name? He's like, don't move, I'm calling the police. So, you know, she pulls out her gun as you would. And, you know, just with no hesitation, she just, you know, pops him a couple of times, you know, as you would. He's still trying to figure out who she is. And she's just like, what, you don't recognize me, lover? I'm the woman of your dreams or some such shit. Before, you know, just doing her thing, you know, I'm sure he'll be fine. And in her hurry to leave the crime scene, she drops the murder weapon, you know, as you would. She then gets to the pawn shop, but the place is closed. So then she has to improvise, you know, get a way of getting in there to pay the guy, so she can get her damn beauty back. So she takes this like rickety trash can and just beats this door open. She then just instantly goes and finds her face. But she has to do a little bit extra snooping, and she finds Sleeping Beauty there. Not looking as good as she did before, but she's still solid. She goes to touch the body, probably just to see if she's alive or not, and then he's just all like that. He's just all methed up and crazy looking, going all like, that's the way she used to look. She used to be so beautiful. And then he just goes on to explain that he needs other women's beauty to just keep her that way. I don't know if she's alive or not. It's white dude voodoo. I don't know. She's just like, I don't give a shit what your thing is. We had a deal, man. She's like, here's all this shit. It's gotta be $100,000. Now give me back my beauty. I want my beauty back. He's like, sure, I could do that. I can give you your beauty back. And then he shows her a newspaper that's like, it comes out very fast. That came out very fast. I think she just did these things. Showing that Playboy iced by gold digger. Yeah. So then she's just like, ah, shit. Then the meth head pawn shop owner guy's cop buddy comes in and just starts talking about the case, saying, oh yeah, she dropped the murder weapon at the crime scene, and we have her fingerprints from a prior crime she committed. So she shows her face again, we're gonna get her. So then she's thinking to herself, well, hell, I either get my freedom or get my face back and I go to prison for the rest of my life. So then she just grabs up her face and reluctantly leaves, accepting the fact that she's just gonna look like a scrotum for the rest of her life. And then as she's crossing the busy New York street with her face in her hands, she runs into an old friend, and it falls down and breaks, and to add insult to injury, she's like, why don't you watch where you're going, you old, ugly, trifling bitch? Which made me laugh a little, I'm not gonna lie. Where then, Mrs. McFly is left to pick up the pieces. Ooh. Before cutting to this handsome bastard, showing you how he stays nice and young. Well, if you stuck around this long, I really appreciate you. Yeah, this was the 4th episode ever. Yeah, it's a good one. I like this one. I like the cast is pretty good. I like the prostitute lady, Mrs. McFly, and pimp named Slickback. He was pretty good for like the 2 minutes he was in it. Not a bad episode, Again, for now at least, all of these are free on Tubi. You can watch them for free. But anyway, I'll stop ranting and rambling and let you get on with your day or night. If you would just please consider doing all the things that YouTube likes and that I appreciate very, very much. Thank you so much for hanging out. It really does mean the world to me. You have a good one, and I will catch you on the next one.